Okay, so hi everyone, how you all doing? Welcome back to my channel, Julia Style Glam. If you are new here, you are most welcome. And if this is your first time on my channel, if you're a returning subscriber, I'm sorry, if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for being here. All right. And yeah, so today we're going to still be talking about the Emeka Ike saga and his family. In the course of time, I've been quite busy, so putting up follow-up videos have been like, quite something. So I am going to still, I'm going to try to roll out videos as much as possible. Now, today's video, and I want to also sincerely thank you all for the comments you left for me and, your reaction to my previous video. Thank you very much. One of you actually pointed out to me that that I failed to be unbiased in the last video, and I did say it, that yes, I am that I as much as I struggled, I didn't to be on the fence, but I couldn't, did my emotions get ahead of me? I would say no, because it's still not going to change what I'm going to say, but I'm going to add, what I'm going to talk about is, talking about, why I made, why I came to those conclusions I came to concerning Emeka Ike. And we're also going to talk about his wife, okay? I have a separate video about the son, okay? So look out and watch out for that particular video. I have a separate video about his son. And I'm sure a lot of you may be thinking a million and one things. I'm sure it's not what a lot of you are thinking. So also watch out for that one. So I had said quite a lot in the previous video, and I wanted to go back to why I concluded, or why I feel that Emeka Ike is the person that he is. Okay, so like I said, I can't remember a lot of his movies. I've tried looking for some, and I found, so I'm going to put them so that, just to buttress my point on, when I talked about his body language. Now, one of the things, they say the eyes are the windows to the soul. And one of the things that has always called out to me where Emeka Ike is his eyes. I have another video on signs to look out for, with people who are, with abusers. I have a video that is coming up on that one, so also watch out for that. So one of the things that speaks a lot for him are his eyes. If you look through most of his videos, when in interviews or in the movies, look at his eyes. There are people that you look at and you say, oh, they have kind eyes, they have this, they have that, they have that. But, just like, just like someone, just like a rabid dog, I don't know if you've seen a rabid dog, just like a rabid dog or a dog that is angry or, growling. The first thing you notice is the eyes. And what you notice about the eyes is the whites of the eyes. At each time this dude is talking, you notice that there's this aggressiveness, okay, that is just waiting to jump out, okay, of him. Then I also talked about body language. I recall there was a movie he did. I see that movie in my mind's eye, and in that movie, I can't remember who he was supposed to be trying to chat up in the movie, and he had this thing he did all the time where he moved his body in a certain type of way. Now, for a lot of people, one will say, "Oh, it's acting." One of the things, what makes a great actor is being able to remove from you your. So one of the things is that makes a wonderful actor is when you are in character, you take the form of your character, and that's a lot of work, and that's a lot of psychology. But then being able to remove yourself from that character as well. I recall Whoopi Goldberg when she did the movie. Oh gosh, what's the title of this movie? Where she was supposed to be dressed as an evil nun or something. She actually talked about. I will look for the video where she said it. She said she actually went full on in that movie. She took the part of that character, and that for her to get out of that character was hard. It was difficult. I'm going to look for it and you're going to hear her say it. And that's what makes amazing actors and actresses. In the case of Emeka Ike, whether he acts the scene of the bad boy or the good guy, there has been not necessarily any removal of the persona and the character. There has been no separation of persona and character and the real person. And while that, one may say, oh, but it's not evident to see, you can't see it. Yeah. But this is me, saying what I noticed and what informed some of the things that I said. That said, okay, now he's also erratic in action, erratic in the things. And you notice he has a short fuse. Like I said, I saw a long video, I think it's 6 or 7 years ago. He had an interview and he was practically, scolding, and threatening the interviewer on this interview, And she said, well, you came out and you made it public. You're a public figure. You were the one who started talking about your marital issues. And then you're being asked questions about it. And then you now remember that you're not supposed to be talking about it and start saying, you better stop talking now because for whatever reason, you are the same person that initiated the discussion. Emeka Ike was supposed to be promoting a new movie. Aside from the fact that the name of that movie is quite common, okay? It's a name that we heard growing up as kids, Malaika. I don't know what the movie is about. I have no clue, because he has opened up Pandora's box in a situation where we are now talking about him, his family, his children, his wife, than the movie. Mind you, that interview he did on channels, Rubbing Minds, could have gone two ways. So where are you now? Well, I'm getting back. I'm taking control of my life. You know, the past few years of my life have been such and such and such. Well, I am taking one day at a time. I understand and I take my responsibility for all the things that I did. And so here we are today. And so let's focus on the present. Point blank, period. You've just succeeded in removing the whole conversation about your marriage and to focus on the movie. You see, but because he is not that person, because he is that person who uses threats, who bullies, who manipulates with words and actions. And so for him, the desired result, unfortunately for him today, is not what he is getting. Okay? Mind you, he started this whole fiasco that we are living in today. He started this fiasco everywhere. I watched another interview. In the last video, I talked about when he said he was using words that were too heavy. How does someone use words like kill and and you're using destroy? I would take you so flippantly. And I took my time to go watch that interview Segun Arinze did with Ebuka. And Segun Arinze did not stutter. For 1 second, he did not stutter. He gave it as it is. I'm going to link that video here. And he said he should stop doing nonsense. You see, how someone, and I've said it before and I'm going to say it, I'm saying it here, but you're going to hear me in another video. How someone is raised is a strong testament to who and what they become. For whatever reason, according to that video Segun Arinze did, that this man decided he wanted to call himself the president of AGN, blah and blah and blah, and all the corners he cut. Again, this is testament to character. You see, many of us today followed and voted Peter Obi for a reason, because he showed character. He showed judiciousness. He showed truthfulness. He showed that process mattered and matters. And here is somebody who we have heard from the mouth of his colleagues say that he cut process and went and declared himself such and such and such and such. I also said in that video that this is someone that has no control over his mouth, eyes, every opening on his body. He has no control over it. And that's exactly what is playing out here. Okay? Now, I also talked about the fact that he uses threatening words at will. You see, where someone, again, and these are characteristics of a bully as well, where he's able to use these words flippantly. Kill, if I catch, I will do this, I will do that, blah, 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 blah. And I'm going to say it here and I'm repeating it again. Because his wife has let it pass over her head, it's hurting him. He needs a stronger reaction from her. He's not getting it. Because, you see, the power he held over her is no more. And so you find out that there is, there is how a route to the person that we are seeing today. For whatever reason, and I will still say that somewhere along the line in this man's life, he's been a victim. Unfortunately, he has not understood that he's actually creating and carrying out the exact replica of what he's been through and what he'd been through in his life, and he's using it on, his family as well. It works and worked for him up onto a point. Today, it's not working anymore. You see, when Emeka Ike began his campaign and slander against his wife, social media was not this big. Now, today, we have outlets. And again, he did not put that into consideration. We have outlets, we have different modes of saying and, research. And he didn't bank on this today. He banked on it 7 years ago. He banked on it 6 years ago. He banked on it 5 years ago. Or he banked on it, 10 years ago. He didn't bank on that in 2023. And so everything that he has become, everything that he is, we now can see it for what it is. Okay, so I will repeat, the guy needs help. The dude needs help. And I'm not talking about help physically, help here. He needs help. Okay. Another thing again is how quickly and how easily he slut shames. As this is a man who slut shames his wife. At the same time, he will still use that same mouth and go and say, I love my wife. How does somebody divorce you? Please explain, how does somebody divorce someone without one's consent? Make it make sense. Blackmailers made her divorce you. My wife didn't. If your wife did not want to divorce you, dude, she will come back. She's not coming back. She's not, it's not mathing. Your stories are not mathing. It sounds like something that is concocted out of fables, Aesop's fables. I don't know if any of you read Aesop's fables when you were younger. I did read them. Those books. I love them. They sound like something that came from the air. Blackmailers. Who are these blackmailers that no one is seeing? We need to know who they are. Okay. And then, because again, just to get a reaction, slut shaming. He slut shamed her mother, slut shamed his wife, slut shamed the sisters, slut shamed the family, the wife's family. Yet, the reaction you're waiting for, you're not getting. And this is a very typical example of a violent person. This is a typical example of a DV, of a classic example of, an abuser. Now, that is Emeka Ike. I want to go now to the wife. And that's why, I'm going to say what I said before. As a man, if you cannot speak, if you cannot chat a woman, especially when you're older, okay? You're 30, you're 35, 36, 40. You cannot chat up a woman who's closer to your age, okay? And you think that a 16, 17, 18-year-old, you know, is a better deal for you. Forget it. I'm going to say it, I'm going to repeat it. Stop. That's grooming. Because I recall in her interview with Chude, she said that at the time she was to go to the university, she was pregnant. So this dude, at that time, she was 18, had already began to have intimate relations with her. Let's not go there. I mean, we could begin another story of sexual assault and whatever, but let's not go there for now. And so she was 18. At 18, she already was pregnant. Okay? At the time she was to go to university. And then she also talks about the fact that she wants to go for therapy. That's something you're going to hear also in the video I'm going to be talking about with the son. She wants to go for therapy, but she doesn't have the money. Now, why do I say this is a classic case of abuse and grooming? You see, an abuser doesn't go for someone who's as at par with them. They usually would go for someone who is below, who they know their weaknesses. You know, they are predators. And so they go for people whom they know their weaknesses and how to get, and how to get at them, And so what was quite noticeable in Susan Emma's case was, one, she came from a not well-to-do family, okay? She had hopes and dreams, and she thought and she felt that, getting married to this man would help her achieve those dreams. It was quite obvious that she was naive. And so she trusted him to do right by her. And there's nothing wrong with it, actually. To trust the man who says he wants to take care of you. There's nothing wrong with it. But again, listening to her speak today, after in her interview, said she wants to take the kids for therapy, but she doesn't have the money. I can understand the difficulties of, living in Nigeria today. You see, because one of the things that makes she has been able to work through the power he has over her. But one of the things that I don't know, but this is from what she said. Well, one of the things that is quite obvious is that she has still not been able to elevate herself from where he left her. And probably that is why he still is able to go on this slander campaign where she is. You see, I talked about the fact that a woman's success remains a threat to a man. And for Emeka Ike, he must have, like I said, this is a predator art character. He looked at this person, oh, she's not she's not a troublemaker. She's not this. Because in one of the interviews, I heard him say, where is my wife? Where is she? Kidnappers and blackmailers have her. Where is she? So you see, this is someone he's pushing, he's poking and trying to get a reaction out of. Okay? Now, she has not been able to rise above that. Could it be that in the course of her marriage with him, she did not know any industry people to, walk with and work with, that she could have sent or seen and said, this is my situation, okay? Because this is, I mean, this is your husband's milieu. And, usually by virtue of that, if it's the women, or you will know one or two people. So she has not been able to say, oh, out of these, because you see, this life is network. Oh, do you get me? And everything we do, it's about, oh, let's, progress, move, that kind of a thing. She has gone to where she can. But then remember, again, she's a graduate. She went to university. She finished. Okay? So let's take, for instance, RMD. Yeah? RMD is married to his wife, Jumobi. And Jumobi was on TV at a time. And then, due to her, after her marriage with RMD, she left. And today, Jumobi works in the bank. She's been working at the bank. Ali Baba was shout out shout out to Ali, to Uncle Ali Baba. That man, I respect him so much. Him, RMD, I respect both of them so much. Ali Baba is married to a banker as well. And I'm very sure, because I listened to his podcast with the Honest Bunch. I'm warming up towards that podcast. I really enjoy the things they say. And I listened to that podcast, and he said something about men looking for women to marry and co and co. So again, back to Susan. At what point did your network, or the network you formed in the period of time you were with this man, at what point which network came to your aid? I don't know. This is me in my head. I cannot say, what the situation was. Again, like she said, she just wanted to let go. Maybe he was haunting her. Maybe he was stalking her. I don't know. But, one of the things that gives a woman power and strength is being able to grow, evolve, and move from where you were to where you want to be. She couldn't be a model anymore, but which means she still is thinking about something in the creative sector. So what else again is there for you? Okay, you couldn't be. Maybe you could have decided, okay, I'm going to start my own talent agency or whatnot. Again, your wedding was quite public, and I'm sure there were a lot of industry people who came for that wedding. But again, we don't know the dynamics, but this is my brain doing that math. Okay. And so for a lot of women out there, what you don't want to do, and I keep saying it, women, hold your coins. Have your coins. See, I have a video on that, and I'm going to attach it to this video so you guys can watch it. Hold your coins. Have your coin in your pocket. It's important. It's not for anything. You see, one thing I realized in the course of, this is between being in Nigeria and leaving Nigeria, was that men respect women who've got hustle. A real man, I'm not talking about, those ones who are threatened. A real man respects a woman who's got hustle. If you are playing the game, there was this girl when we were doing our youth service. She was such a beautiful girl. And she was a Port Harcourt girl, I think. Pretty. And I recall during youth service at the time, because I came back to Nigeria for my youth service, and I recall during youth service at that time, I was, in all honesty, I personally, I didn't know what I wanted to do, I wanted to work. I didn't want to work in the bank, but banking was everything. Banking was where everyone was going. And I didn't want the banking sector. I was actually told that if I was going to work in the oil sector, I needed to change my state of origin. I was like, hell nah, I ain't going to do that, But there was this girl I met, lovely girl. And I learned something from her. So, at that time they had increased our pays. Now people are earning a lot of money. Then we're earning, I think we're collecting, at that time it was 10,000, if I'm not wrong, per month. And I recall, because during youth service where we were, most organizations and schools would come and offer you classes and courses for you to do at very, 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 affordable rates. I mean, knowing that you're youth corpers. And I recall this lady because I flunked accounting. In fact, I didn't flunk accounting until I got here. But I recall that I had this nightmare where accounting was, and I remembered I wanted to do ICANN, but for whatever reason I didn't do ICANN because they came. They came to I served in Ekiti at the time. They came, and offered us ICANN training at that time, on camp. I was thinking, oh, I wanted to travel, I wanted to do this, I wanted to do that. This girl read engineering. Guess what? She was doing ICANN. And I think at that time, when they came to camp, they were paying for ICANN. I think they just collected only 5,000 as against the 95,000 you would pay when you got out of camp. And pretty chic, as in she was so pretty and chic, and she was doing it. Now, she read petroleum, I read economics. And you would say, well, I would say, one would say, who should this one be more, this course should be more favorable to? It should be me, isn't it? After all, I read economics, and, this should be an opportunity for me and become chartered at once. And she did it. It did not click to me. It did not make sense. I did not get, the button did not click until after youth service, because immediately after youth service, I found myself out of Nigeria. I was out. Then when I got here, the first job I was to do, they asked me, do you have any accounting background? That was the day I decided in my life that no opportunity will ever be wasted. Anywhere I saw as an opportunity to learn, I would put it in, unless I wasn't interested in that thing. Because what was painful about this was that I actually wanted to do accounting. When I got to doing my master's, I was accounting 2 semesters. And then I knew and understood what I did to myself. So what am I saying in essence? In the course of that time, the school, whatever, what did she learn? What did you pick? And what have you used today? Because I will tell you categorically that he will continue to feel and have the strength to keep slandering and saying the things he says about you, as long as he perceives that you are still handicapped financially. I want to repeat again, and you're going to hear this in all the subsequent videos I'm going to bring out. I want to repeat this again, that in this case, this is a cry for help. This is a cry for help on the part of Susan Emma. It's a cry for help. And my question is, at what point will Child Protective Services come in? And at what point will the police come in to protect this lady and her children? I would also say it's a cry for help on Emeka Ike's part, because you and I are able to sit down and see what is happening with him, that he's not okay mentally. He's reliving trauma. So sorry guys, I found out that my battery died, so my camera wasn't recording, so we'll have to finish this on audio. So like I said, Emeka Ike is reliving trauma, and let's not forget the fact that this is someone who has also been through, he's lost his finances, and that takes a blow to a man's ego, somewhat. And this is not an excuse. Again, please, this is not an excuse for his abusive nature. No, but this is someone you know, whose ego is taking a trashing. That's one. And because he hasn't known anything else. He hasn't known any other type of life other than he exhibits. Remember, learned behavior, generational abuse. That's the next topic that I'm going to be talking about. So he has no way to navigate this, and this is all he knows. So yes, he needs help. He needs help to be able to come to terms with his life now. He needs help to be able to come to terms with what he needs to do and how he needs to get out of the funk he's in. He needs help, on how to move forward, and to live at peace with what has happened. And also he needs help to be able to, reconcile with his children. A lot of damage has been done, and there's that cause for help. If he would accept and be willing to take the help, if he were offered. And so I say this to say that I'm going to go back again to Susan Emma's case, because you see, the mistake was born in the beginning. Parents, this one is for parents. Parents, allow your children grow. Give your children the opportunity to become something. That marriage is not the be all and end all of everything that they should be or aspire to. Don't say because of family situation you put yourself at a disadvantage in the hands of people who will hurt you and hurt your children in the name of poverty. Allow your child go to school, especially the girl child. Your children, I want to say this, parent, your children are not bargaining chips. Your children are not your tickets out of poverty either. Because this didn't happen today. I mean, this is 2023, 24, 23, 24. We've seen how Nigeria is today. But in the 90s, it wasn't this bad. So you're using your child, your daughters, as marriage material, wife material, in the name of getting out of poverty. I stand against that one. And that is something that my growing up, my dad was very adamant about his girls. It was, you had no business, for my father, you had no business coming to that house with a boy or boyfriend in the name of marriage, and you are talking about not going to school. Who are you? No, that school, you will finish that school in my house. Nobody is paying for your children's school fees. You will finish that school in my house. Yes. Because if you do not give your girl child the confidence, the tools she needs to survive in the world, what you only make her understand at the end of the day is that the only way out she has out of poverty or any situation is through a man. And here we see the breakdown of society. Let me tell you guys, Susan Emma is not the first. There are many. I know quite a number. Many of those marriages that these manipulative seeking men go after young teenagers, 17, 18, and say they want to marry, that they go to school. 9 times out of 10, those girls did nothing. They didn't go to the school. They started popping out kids, and boom, the rest is history. Most of those marriages are nowhere today. Most of them are nowhere today. And so, on this note, this is where this video ends. And on this note, guys, I want to say a very big thank you for listening in on my channel once again. I want to say a big thank you for the comments as well. Do not fail to like, share, comment, and subscribe to my channel as always. And yeah, subscribe. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.